And so how can, similar to the breath being this like manual override, a physical component being a manual override for something emotional, how can I use the body to kind of create new ways of being and new pathways to then influence the mind to relax, right? So those sessions that I work with private clients that are less, I do offer standard yoga classes that help strengthen, the mind and body in the general sense. But I really enjoy working with individuals to kind of release trauma or just find new ways of being in your body. Kind of a more personal story, but I really noticed as I got older, like my mom, she became a lot more frail and fragile and like literally hunched over, like kind of really small, and you see that, in kind of the way we hunch or sort of grow smaller when we feel smaller or we feel more fearful. And a lot of the work that I try to do in classes generally, but also with these private sessions, is to really kind of train the body to not feel fear, to open up. And I think it's an easier way to access than the mind. I say this a lot to people where you can't think yourself out of anxiety. Like you can't think yourself out of like stress, you kind of need to. I think it's easiest or it's most accessible to sort of work through the body and then try to kind of use that as a learning tool. And so that's what I try to do a lot with private clients. Some of the things I've noticed with working with private clients is that even I honestly was kind of surprised, but to be able to see them kind of experience that release of trauma and just to hold space for that emotion, those emotions to come up, it seems to have been helpful and impactful, for those individuals. And certainly really rewarding for me to be able to experience and to just hold space for. On the corporate side, it's really interesting to kind of see the differences between the different places that I sort of offer, yoga or mindfulness-based materials. For example, in corporate environments, where I offer like a yoga and meditation session in the office, I'll notice that individuals are afraid to breathe. They're afraid when I ask them to do an open mouth exhale and just let it out. Everybody is super, super, super quiet. And I'm like, I know you have more things to let out than that, and it's just so interesting how everybody really tightens up. It feels challenging just within just purely the fact that these sessions or classes are held in that environment to allow people to find that safe space. But my hope is that, I can kind of create that sanctuary for them,